hiện trong tại của những gia cha này như là bên Hmong USA TV nó là cũng tàu tôi một cộng đồng để bé họ và lũ city Clovis là lũ ở chỉ tỷ toàn giả nó là cũng tàu on rồi bây giờ Hmong cho là một thì cả là do tàu thì là cũng cho tôi cho thiệt hay là giờ mua luôn cho nó cũng cho là một trò xịa cho là identify thì là giờ lên từ là chỉ nhớ đồ lũ toàn giả từ này nè chỉ khó nói cái khó thì rong hẹn thì tại chỉ nó là cũng bị do cho bây giờ Hmong thì là thiệt chỉ nó bé hầm lòng xe cho lũ là hay nó họ mua đã chỉ tên để trả thiệt thì rồi chia sẻ họ mua họ bị từ tên là cho lũ là hay họ mua đã chỉ tên là mua đã chỉ tên là họ mà để khét rồi này sẽ được thế này chỉ rong xe thì cũng tôi một cộng thiệt nhớ đồ không nó.
Thank you for being here today. What I've learned about a Hmong event is everyone is always dressed very well, and there's lots of you. So, welcome. Thank you for being here. For the members of the media, just a thank you for being here to be a part of this very important event. And I'm getting a wave from the back that you cannot hear. So, is that better? Okay. Thank you. What will happen is we'll have a list of speakers. I will name them one by one as they come up, and then we will have an availability afterward as well. So, as we look around, we are at one of the 5 Clovis Cemetery District cemeteries. Beautiful surroundings. It's a beautiful day. We have many important people who have answered our call to be here today to help us with this public outreach effort. There are too many to name one by one, but I did want to just make a note that I want to recognize Mayor Vong Wanatua for being here, from the Clovis City Council, Clovis Council Member Drew Bessinger, Fresno County Supervisor Nathan Magzik, former Mayor of Clovis, so Clovis is in his heart. Representatives from Congressman Vince Long's office, Senator Shannon Grove, and Assembly Member David Tankapaw. And if there's anyone from the IT department in the back, we're getting a little echo. So just a heads up on that, just a little echo. Okay. You guys hearing that too?
Yep. Got a power through.
I will. We're going to begin by having James Lenenbach from the Clovis Cemetery District Board Chair just come up and say a few words about why we're here today, and then we'll get the ball rolling from there. So let's start with you, James.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jim Lenenbach, and I am the chairman of the Board of Trustees here at the Clovis Cemetery District. Reason we're here this morning, an effort is underway by the Clovis Cemetery District to identify Hmong veterans who are buried in our cemeteries for the purpose of honoring their memory, service, and sacrifice. This is part of our ongoing mission to honor all military veterans laid to rest in our cemeteries. Veterans buried in the district cemeteries are identified with a blue star on their headstone. Throughout the year, the district honors the identified veterans in our cemeteries on Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and during the winter with the wreaths across America. Many Hmong veterans who fought in the secret war in Laos have been left out of these ceremonies as their headstones may not identify them as veterans. The district wishes to mark the headstones of these veterans with a star and begin including them in our annual ceremonies. Perhaps our board member Dwight Knoll said it best: it is time to correctly identify this often overlooked group of veterans. But we need the help of Hmong families and other members of the community who know where these brave veterans are laid to rest. Hmong veterans who served in the secret war in Laos deserve the same respect as each one of our other military veterans buried in our cemeteries. We look forward to including them in our ceremonies to honor military veterans for many years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, James. Dwight Kroll, who was mentioned, is going to now say a few words.
Thank you. Yes, cemeteries are about remembering people in their lives. And okay. cemeteries are really about remembering people and their lives and the impact their lives had on society. As a new board member, I was touring a number of our cemeteries, one of which was the Toll House Cemetery in the foothills. And the thing that struck me was the number of grave sites for the Hmong community and Hmong veterans that were there. And I knew nothing about it. I asked my good friend Vong Manatua to explain it a little bit to me, and Vong joined me on the site. We walked it, and Vong explained the history of the Hmong's participation in some of the war events of the United States and the Hmong support of the United States of America. I was deeply touched by this, and I asked the question, are these veterans being recognized? And I think that question probably started the process of going, this is a good opportunity to recognize those efforts before they go unnoticed in the future. Vong, thank you so much for explaining that to us. We are deeply touched as board members to be here and celebrate this moment. And I also want to recognize Charlie Briggs, another board member who was here this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dwight. I'd now like to call up the Executive Director of the SGU Veterans and Families of America, Bao Chair Vang, who's going to say a few words.
Thank you to the board president or board chair, Mr. James Lindbergh, board members, Dwight Crom, and all board members and staff for taking this time to recognize our SGU veterans who have been laid to rest at these cemeteries. From the bottom of my heart and from the veterans and their families, we really appreciate for taking this opportunity to recognize our veterans. As you know, the SGU veterans include Hmong, Lao, Lahu, Khmu, Mien, and other minority groups. However, the large group is Hmong, but yes, they also include others. And as many of you know, the SGU was commanded by General Vang Pao, who was recruited by the United States to fight the communists or North Vietnamese during the Vietnam War. However, since Laos was considered to be neutral, it was kept secret. That's why we call the secret war in Laos. But as you know now, it's no longer secret. And these groups or soldiers were to fight the North Vietnamese and to keep them away from Laos from spreading to communism to the Southeast Asian countries. And during the Secret War, these soldiers, as many of them, not too many left, only few of them here. They were recruited to protect the U.S. intelligence installations, to rescue the American pilot, to intercept and ambush the North Vietnamese that tried to mobilize their supply and troops to the south to fight our American troops. And the Hmong, Lao, Khmu, Mien, or the SGU soldiers were supposed to take care of that, to lessen the pressure to our American soldiers in the South Vietnam. And culturally, we're not supposed to say that we or these soldiers deserve it to be recognized. However, realistically, yes, they deserve to be recognized. And thank you, Clovis Cemetery District. I cannot find any better word than thank you, and we appreciate your recognition. This is a big deal for our veterans and family. This is a milestone for our community. And thank you very much for the recognition, the effort that you try to recognize our veterans. And I have some of the books about the SGU. You are welcome to pick one. And also I have the map of the headquarters of the SGU back in Laos. and the late General Vang Pao was the commanding officers there. Thank you very much for the time.
I'd now like to call up a good friend of Clovis, County Board of Supervisor Nathan Magson.
Thank you all for being here. And I too would like to thank the Cemetery District Board. I cannot find any other cemetery district across the United States that is doing what you are doing today and what we're recognizing. So really, you are leading the way, and my hope is that not only the Clovis Cemetery District, the 5 that are here, not only will we stop there with recognizing people who are interned, but also across the state of California and across the entire United States, because the sacrifice of many who lost their life in war and those who have served and passed on, those sacrifices need to be recognized. You know, the story of those who fought in the secret war are near and dear to my heart. You see, my uncle flew in Vietnam. He flew F-4s, and he was shot down in Vietnam, and he had to spend the night on the grounds in Vietnam. And the Hmong people saved hundreds, if not thousands, of American troops, many of whom were pilots who were shot down. And so my family thanks you for the sacrifices that you made, because my uncle is still alive today. He is in his 80s, but he was able to be brought out of Vietnam, and he continued to fly more missions. But these are the stories that sometimes we don't speak of, we don't talk about enough. But my family has benefited because of the sacrifices of the Hmong people and those who served under General Vang Pao. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you. And for those of you who are here who may not know, there are these pins that many of us are wearing, and these pins recognize the significance of what we're doing today and the sacrifices as well of those people who served in the secret war. So I will wear this pin proudly, and I'm honored to be able to stand with you today. And again, thank you to the Cemetery District Board who has made this a reality. Thank you.
We are honored to now be joined with the board president of the Lao Veterans of America organization, Chair Chai Vang, who's going to say a few words.
Morning. President Butcher already talked in English, but I have to speak in Hmong, okay? So please allow me to do so. My name is Chai Vang. I'm the president of Lao Veterans of America, headquartered in Congressional. So I have to thank you to Clovis Cemetery Board of Directors and Mayor Wong Monutua, our newly mayor in Clovis City. And also I would like to say thank you to Stacy Powell, the director of the 5 cemetery in Clovis area. And also thank you for the guests who are attending our meeting or our gathering today. And also, I would like to say in Hmong right now, Út Tháo Út Châu Trọng Thị Tiến Trang Hmong theo cho America tàu tô cộng đặc biệt nó bây giờ Út Tháo Châu ít bộ bồi sinh Út Tháo Út Châu đó này vấn đề sự sửa hở tô cộng đặc biệt nó theo Út Tháo Châu Doctor là do Mayor Wong Monutua và tàu ba lúc nào bây giờ mua tôi xin chi tôi thả tàu bây mong luôn nhanh để bây lớn một chi lúc cemetery nhớ đọc Clovis area để nó nói tới lúc nó lấy thả để nó nè thì lúc nào lúc thì ý được chi lúc được thì lúc nào có châu khó hạt địa lỡ cho chạy là lá bao lằng bao hạt địa xã cỏ bây mong cháu cố túc cho thì để lần từ họ trong địa tên là trời lỡ nó là cha tờ tôi ý chồng mong sẽ đời rồi cho thứ tôi nhớ đâu thì nó lỡ là xếp bằng cho chỉ tao tua là giờ thì sẽ được nhiều bao đi trả là lúc này giờ cờ trâu và cả một cái chợ lò xưa này chị ba bây giờ mua vào tàu HU veteran theo hồ Lao veteran HU thế mà cho vào tú vòng mayor of Clovis Tap sẽ gặp process để bây giờ đi trảเขาเนี่ยมันถาตัวยาไปชัวแล้วก็ฝังได้แต่เป้ตัวจำเป้ตัวนู่นเราที่อเมริกาที่ลาโป้ฮะที่ City of Clovis ที่เขาจ้องตัวเป้เลยแต่เป้ John Bay đâu liền nấu với từ lời cho tiếng mong về nhân này nó là chỉ tàu vào lúc star thôi nè lúc blue star lúc nó cũ lấy món tàu trong này tụ xanh từ dây để là dây lời cho chừng nhớ tận đây nó xả cỏ mua để là dây mua lúc star trong đó nó là bây mà đi kia trong này để tuần chi cháu mường vùng mùa nụ tuổi nhớ đâu Clovis thế là cho vua để tới này nóไอ้ก็ไปมั่วไอ้เขาเชิญเชิญเราเคียนู่นเราจะเท่าลูกเจ้าเมือง of Clovis ให้เราไปมองจะได้แต่เขาnóiไอ้เขาชมมันจะต่อไปก็จะเนี่ยเราสิเกิดว่า from 1961ตัวอีกที่จะว่าเราจะอีลูกอลินตัวที่นั่งเกาหลีจะXem cho qua cha chủ trì ở lúc trí thì đâu, đểเขาnói vậyเขาโอกาส trong the first opportunity แต่เธอ no แต่เธอรู้โอกาสว่าใครจะไปมองไอ้เท่าเจ้าเมือง Clovis วงมวลหนึ่งตัวนะจะไปมองให้เราไปมองเสด็จเดี๋ยวจู่ป้าเขาnóiจะเตี้ยนจีไปตัวนี้รู้ได้แค่เนี่ยตามมุสินั่งไปจีมองเขาเตะเลยล่ะđể nó nhớ chi hay chúng tu để chỉ cho tiếng mua bé nhá để nó bé thì chỉ có để này bây giờ tu nhá để nó là này cho thânใจdây này bây giờ từ họ xả cả trong bé nó là cả chi thì tao bé rồi giờ doctor vòng một tuổi cho người bảo Clovis nó bé qua cả tao không được chỉ đọc đọc bé mong chỉ bé tôi thả nó ta li ó bé chỉ mua process qua một gì thế ai thả li nó đó này sẽ đào tiệp bây giờ chia chắp là qua tàu này nó nè giờ ít họ tiền chỉ rồi cái này space mong space tàu trò đi Thái to America đi Thái bây là mấy bên thành mong nó thì tụ tiền chỉ rồi bây giờ có tụ trò tàu ba sòng hàm Secret War nó tụ đây chẳng làmไอ้เท่าเจ้าตัวนี้ทั่วเรื่องทั่วตัวว่าเตาสีเสียหายตัวกล่องเราเป็นอย่างนั้น Thank you so much.
Now I'd like to invite Councilmember Drew Bessinger.
Good morning. On behalf of the City of Clovis, I want to welcome you all today for this important event. The Hmong community has a special place in the City of Clovis and in our region. When I joined the Army in 1975, I served with a great many other armed forces members who served in Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War. The dedication and commitment of the Hmong, Lao, Thai, and other indigenous people to protecting U.S. Army, Air Force personnel on the ground was outstanding. Having the Hmong community as our allies during the Secret War was extremely important. And I know why it's so important to have good allies. Yesterday, April 29th, was the day that my dad's prisoner of war camp in Germany was liberated by the British Army. He was able today, 80 years ago, to send a proof of life postcard home to his family because they didn't know if he was dead or alive. I know that the SGU and other members of the community protected our down flyers and other service members, and they got home to their families as my dad got home to his family. So I want to thank you. This is a great day. I'll be here for Memorial Day, and I always come for Wreaths Across America because my father-in-law is in this cemetery. There's a great number of young men that I knew personally who are interred here after being killed protecting our nation. So this is a good day. Congratulations to the Hmong community. Thank you so much.
I'd like to invite Tom Wright up from the Clovis Veterans Memorial District, Board Chair, of course the district, great partner of the City of Clovis.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate being here, and I thank you all for doing this, especially the Clovis Cemetery District for taking leadership in this program. I was fortunate to be raised in this community, and the Clovis Veterans Memorial District was always part of our lives, and more recently, not chronologically, but more recently, I became involved with the Memorial District, and its purpose is to honor and remember veterans who served their country. And we do a good job. It's a great assignment. But my perspective on what we're doing here today is kind of shaped by an experience. When I was in my early 40s, I decided it was time for a career change. I went back to school, got my teaching credential and master's degree, and taught 6th graders for 22 years in Fresno. The very first day I walked into my job, I was just short of my 45th birthday. And I had a classroom full of kids on the west side of Fresno who were predominantly minorities by our definition. Lots of Southeast Asians, and it took me several years to figure out the differences between the different Southeast Asian people. But to kind of get acquainted with each other, we did a heritage study where they all had to go back and find out where they came from, because we're all immigrants here. And they had to do some research, find out where they came. They did a report. They had to make something that represented their culture. And on the final day, bring some food from that culture. And we had a big potluck. A little girl named Mai presented her thing, and she brought this desktop-sized scale model of the village she came from in Southeast Asia. I don't remember the name or where it was, but it was absolutely spectacular. She'd done everything. She had plants that represented the jungle and little twigs that represented the corrals they had, and she made little huts with thatched grass roofs that she made. It looked like a picture out of National Geographic magazine when she had it on her desk. But very out of place on that display were these two plaster of Paris, looked like kind of little miniature coffee cups or something like that. So after she presented the report, somebody, of course, the first question, well, what are those white things? Tears started coming down her face. And she said, that's where they put the bodies after the soldiers left. 12-year-old girl in Fresno, California had lived through that and was now telling this story to our culture. What a meaningful moment. It was the only time in my career that a classroom with 34 6th graders were stunned, speechless. She went on to tell about how they escaped from the village. She had to wrap her arms around her father's neck and go across the river on his back with instructions that no matter what happens, you're not allowed to scream because you might attract attention and they'll come and shoot us. So from that perspective, knowing that family and then getting to know the Hmong community and the other Southeast Asians, I can only say it's long overdue that we do this for that Hmong community. We thank the Clovis Cemetery District for taking the lead, and there's no question in my mind that the Veterans Memorial District, which was formed for the purpose of honoring and remembering veterans, will be a joyful partner in this endeavor and continue making it bigger and better wherever it goes. So thank you very much.
Now I'd like to call up the CEO of the Fresno Center, Power Vang.
This year marks 50 years for our Hmong American since the end of the U.S. secret war in Laos, May 14, 1975. The war was from 1961 to 1975, it's a 15-year war that the Hmong community or Hmong people were recruited, as mentioned earlier. Our Hmong American community is grateful to Clovis Cemetery District for its mission to help identify graves of Hmong veterans so that they can be honored alongside other U.S. veterans. On behalf of the Hmong community, especially our Lao Hmong SGU veterans, thank you for this opportunity and the kind gesture to help identify them. It is long overdue to recognize them for their service and sacrifices so that we can be free. Those of us that are Hmong American or Lao Hmong American that are here today, especially in Central California, we are who we are and we're where we are because of these veterans. And let us not forget that. I know there are many graves that are not identified as veterans, and we need everyone's help to identify them so that they can be honored properly, as mentioned earlier. I want to thank again the Clovis Cemetery District, the board members, our mayor of Clovis, Wang Munutua. A lot of the elders call me today when they know that this is going to be a press conference, and they say, "Pal, is Clovis Cemetery recognizing or trying to identify our Hmong veterans because the mayor is Hmong?" And I say could be. Plays a part in it. It's unfortunate that they have to ask me that, but I know this country, the United States of America, is one of the greatest countries in the world. We pride ourselves on our veterans. We're all safe here in the United States because of our veterans who serve, sacrifice to protect us, Americans. This step is a step forward to ensure that our Lao Hmong SGU veterans are not forgotten. Our Hmong American community, at the same time, would also like to invite our Fresno community to join us this weekend at Fresno State, May 3rd, May 4th, to commemorate 50 years of freedom. 50 years of freedom in the United States. That's when the first Hmong family arrived here, 1975. We look forward to celebrating with all of you. Once again, thank you, Mayor Wong Monutua. Thank you to our Hmong SGU and the widows that are here today. And these that are in the crowd are widows of the veterans. These are our veterans that are still alive. Many of them are here because they joined when they were teenagers. But the ones that did join when they were older are no longer with us. This secret war, we call it the U.S. secret war in Laos, we lost 35,000 Hmong soldiers to protect our U.S. soldiers. Another 50,000 civilians were wounded or perished during this war. What does that mean? That's loss of lives, futures, families, leaders of tomorrow gone. So finally, thank you, City of Clovis, the Clovis Cemetery, and as Nathan Mazik said earlier, this is the first cemetery that has taken the initiative to find and put a marker on Hmong veterans, or all veterans, because of their sacrifices. So thank you for allowing us to be here today to voice how we feel. We are grateful. We are grateful for this opportunity. We're grateful for our elected officials. We are grateful for our Clovis community. God bless everyone and thank you.
Next, I would like to call Commander Christopher Thrakill from the VFW Post 3225. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Christopher Thrakill, and I'm the commander of the VFW Post 3225 here in Clovis. You know what, I'm going to take a different approach to this at the moment, because what I'd like to do is I would like to welcome everybody, and I'm excited that everybody's here. Because the VFW, the American Legion, we're all excited to bring all communities together in all the different events that happen in all the different cemeteries within the Clovis Cemetery District. That's Toll House, Aubrey, Red Bank, and Academy, and of course here in Clovis. So I'm here to honor the Hmong community and the veterans of the secret wars that are buried in all our cemeteries. Those that fight the secret war are very important, and we need to all become recognized and be part of the community. And that's what's important. That's what veterans are all about, community. Did you know that there's over 4,000 veterans in all our different cemeteries here? And you know what? By all of you today, and by what they're asking for you to help identify all those others, because I personally have been out there placing flags and looking at all the different memorial headers, and I know that there are veterans that are not marked. So this is a beautiful opportunity for the community to come and be involved. So, I'm not sure if you know, but coming up on May 26th, right here, is Memorial Day. Now what is Memorial Day? Memorial Day is when we recognize those that have fallen. We recognize those with flags, ceremonies, and honors. We have, between all the cemeteries, it is amazing, hundreds of people that come out here and lay flags at each individual gravesite of veterans. That's students, that's community people. People like you all come out to volunteer, and that's what brings the community together. So on Monday, May 26th, we'll be holding the ceremony here. And yes, you get to hear me once again. But on Saturday, we will also be holding different ceremonies at Red Bank, Toll House, Academy, Auberry. That'll be Saturday the 24th, honoring the same thing. So I invite everybody, if you do not know about it, please contact either the American Legion or the VFW. I'll be more than happy to direct you on all the different activities and bring us all together. So one thing I want to just point out real fast. Once again, I like community. That's what the Veterans of Foreign Wars and the American Legion are all about. Community, bringing people together, honoring our veterans, both deceased and present. We have Memorial Day coming up to where we're honoring those that have passed. We have Veterans Day coming up. We're honoring those that are still present and honoring those involved within the community. And last but not least, it was also mentioned, we have Wreaths Across America in December, where we lay wreaths on every single grave site and tombstone. It is an incredible event, and if you have not taken part of it, please become involved, because it's up to you, the community, and that's what's important. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Next up, Commander Tim Libretto from the American Legion, Post 147.
I have no prepared speech. I wasn't even aware I was coming until yesterday. So I am honored to be here. There should be no veteran left behind. We do not recognize nationalities, colors, creeds, religions. We honor all veterans who are part of the freedom that we each and every one enjoy daily. So I have nothing but respect for all of you and all that you've done for this nation. And I am honored to be a part of rectifying this error. So thank you for all that you do, and that all you have done, and that all you will do in the future.
Next up, a representative from Congressman Vince Fong's office, Samantha Mitchell.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, and most importantly, the brave SGU veterans and their families that are gathered here today. It is my honor to be here on behalf of Congressman Vince Fong. As the daughter of a Vietnam veteran and the niece of a Vietnam soldier who never made it home, your sacrifice means the world to me. Without you guys, we would not be where we are today as a country. We stand on this hallowed ground surrounded by the resting places of the heroes who gave all for their freedom. Today, we come together to honor a group of extraordinary warriors whose sacrifices during the war have gone unrecognized for far too long. We thank the Clovis Cemetery District for their tireless efforts in recognizing these veterans who should have been recognized years ago. These were not soldiers fighting for personal gain. They fought because they believed in the promise of freedom, leaving behind their families to answer the call to serve our nation. As we reflect on the legacy of the SGU unit, let us remember their loyalty and sacrifice, which can never be fully repaid. But this appreciation and recognition is a small token of our appreciation for the sacrifices that you have made for us. It is our honor to call you veterans, and we thank you for all of your efforts.
We thank you for being here. Thank you for being in attendance. Thank you for your sacrifices for this community and for this nation.
Dòng xe na, dòng xe từ mong USA, China, nó có chừng tua Thái Bắc trong đó nó, cú ở châu châu vòng môn nụ tua, giờ tụi mẹ giờ cho họ nó, này giờ ít tu, này nó tu, này giờ mua lúa la lì chữ gì, rồi nó giờ thơ rồi, là khi cho này nó trong toàn xã nó trong bé là do ở nơi cho bé cho cô tu trò, mà đó cậu tí cha xuống thì tí luôn tí cho tua cho tí u lại chế cả liệp của chơi, ta chỉ cho tua cho trong tên nó, tua nhớ cho lu chỉ hay lu toàn xã từ lu nó giờ lu thi y rồi thơ rồi bé tua tàu chi châu sông trò này nó nu nó bé thiên lý lu thiên nhục quật giải hay tiền lu do ở này cho Memorial Day lu cho ở này nó ít nu holiday từ là do chọi ít tu nhớ chi là do ở ít lu nhiều blue star rồi bây giờ cô tu trò mà giờ thật thơ cô chuột ở bây tôi tổ chức cho xong nó nào cũng rong xe hay thì bây nhỏ là có mua luôn bây đâu luôn chỉ nu bây tôi là bây giờ chỉ cho tu cho nè nó cứ cho ti tôi là cái mua luôn bây đó chuyện cái thế rồi luôn tu tiệt bây chỉ cho xong và bây giờ nè nó cô tu trò thế cho lúc lâu mong lâu về chuyện là chỉ và có chỉ cho xong công tế chờ cho bé Fresno State cho và tiếp bé và tiếp lâu nó chỉ nu nó họ giờ nu ở thật thơ nu bé tôi cho hậu lúc trong nè nó toàn giả trong tờ lúc trong Fresno Clovis nhớ cho hơi đòn thiết cho vì là nó mà bé tôi tổ chức cho xong cũng chỉ bao nè các té cổ tê nó ta chỉ nhớ cho bé lúc là California nó chỉ lúc nó thật thơ lúc ở lại khi cho giải tỏa lệnh bao hay tiệp bé cho cô tu trò nó cũng rong xe cho mong USA thì cũng rong xe cho bé cho tu chắc chỉ rong đi ở này nó mấy giờ mong vòng mua nụ tỏa lô là cho bỏ phụ công lô rồi trong quá chợ lô chơi chay lô là cho cô tu trò nó cũng thọ ở châu rồi này cho mình tu mình nhỏ thì phía sẽ chập lời này special cho mong USA nè tôi chữ tôi thay bé theo ở ít học ba sát ở ít học đan thằng khởi chia rồi bé tìm mình tu mình nhỏ là cho tua tàu nu nó là cho nhớ tỏ và tỏ chế chừng bao hay tiệc cô tú cho ra đã chỉ tại đây tàu say đó mà cô luôn về ra cô li va cô nhà nhẹ cô luôn này ba phòng á liên đạo sư ở trong tàu
nhớ trong cho ở nào chỉ cô trong mong là xin mayor vong một tuổi nhớ trong luôn trong Clovis nu này nu chỉnh chế hiện trong bê chế này mong hay trong chỉ này phun cho cô tú cho bê cho lên cho tụi yên tua vì chỉ này phun giờ tụi cho bê tua nu nó cái bê cho nà cho chỉ cứ tàu lu bê cho lu su cho hồ Clovis Cemetery cho bố cho cemetery nè Blue District bố mua toll house mua Arbery mua the Academy cái mua lu đợt nó ha giờ Clovis Cemetery villa hơn đơn giờ mấy mua cháu nào chỉ nó nè lu cemetery nó hạt ta bố phê bù cái tòn giang bù cái bên mông trong tầm bảo bố bao chụp bây giờ lần này ta mong nhà ý cho cứ mò xa đi thấy lúc đấy chẳng đủ mika rồi lúc xí hở tua trò Việt Nam họ chỉ bố tại chủ mua ý cho đủ veteran ha chỉ bố giờ sáng lu thọ bây giờ nào chỉ tại mấy mua mấy nà lô mấy xí lô là tại cho lâu lô tao lu dài hun nó là tao lu su hun nó là nó chỉ mấy cho chấm bê tua bê uốn nụ dù SGU cứยังบ่เจอว่าluตัวเรา veteran คือประธานบีว่างปูยังมัวจำเป็นเนาะluตัว Clovis Cemetery District que poi mu mai lu no kuนะlu no ku si sa lu no que chua tu mi ka veteran mua le óแต่สิไปมองจริงสิตอมัวqueตะตึมmaiตอle no que sushi ha Veterans Day la pe on YouTube peจะมองดูque mi ka to shi pe on YouTube ตัว Memorial Day คือยังluตัวlu chi li no ตัวดูque mi ka to shi ha to lu shi an du no December เนี่ยจะพวก Reefs Across America พวกงานลูกปังลูมัวเจอตัวโชว์ลูกตอนจังคืออยากจะพูด veteran อย่าเป้มัวจำเป็นเต้าเลยเป้อย่าย่อชิลัวดูลัวตัวคู่ตัวจอเราชีตัวมั่งตัวชัวตัวคู่ตัวจอดูลูกเตชมิกาฮะว่าเจ้าดอก Clovis Cemetery District หรือเราพวกจะboard หรือเราพวกจะ staff คือพวกสังมัวลูกเกียรตินะตัวเป้เจ้าหนังวัดศรีเนอจะทอมเมกงเต้ตัวตัวประธานบัวเจอโลประธานบีโลเราจะกงหุ่งเนาะตัวทอมเมนะเกทอมเมกงเต้ไม่ซ้ำไม่จำเป้แต่ไม่จำหนึ่งตัวไอ้พวกเป้เซเลสันเตาหมดตัวลูก Cemetery District ไอ้เมียจะเป้าไม่จำหนึ่งเนี่ยเขาตื่นชิตังเลยยาแต่มงชิมัวปิกิคนเองเนาะโลไม่จะน่าจะสีเกี่ยวกับตุจอยาจะรู้ใจเนาะละหาเท่ารู้เชื่อฮะเก็บพวกเซเลเท่าจอรู้ใจเย่อย่าไปมัวมัวอีลุนกกูสารู้ตัวฮะไอ้พวกเซเลเป้าพวกจะ veteran อย่างละชีมีการจะ veteran อย่าเล่นตื่นจะเป็นมงนี่เนาะอย่ามัวใจดูโลโอ veteran ตัวอย่างละฮะ and rong sha cho bắt tham bộ chợ cứ nu pu tết lên nô ye khó cứ jong cho bắt tham bi cho Clovis Cemetery District cái nhớ cho Clovis nè我叫的被蒙 USA 请多太子我记着呢他偷听他偷弄事这样摸到弄几个被YouTube被叫不读者被我叫的叫不读者